Today's stories include Microsoft plans major job cuts at Xbox gaming division. The Xbox VR headset is out now, and Rematch sells 1 million copies. Okay. We'll have all this and more because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. What's up and welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Tuesday, June 24th, 2025. Of course, I'm your host, Tim Geddes. I am joined on this beautiful Tuesday by Blessing Adeoye Jr.
Good day, Tim.
Good day to you. How you been?
I've been pretty good.
Yeah?
Been playing different games. Of course, our Death Stranding 2 review was yesterday that people can check out now. But I've been spending a lot of time in this first half of June playing that, going all in, just playing Death Stranding 2. And I beat it about a week ago. And since then, it's been Rematch, which I've been loving, and we'll talk about. I believe the Rematch review is
you and almost 1 million others.
Yeah, me and almost 2.5 million others.
Oh wow!
Because it sold 1 million,
wow.
but 2.5 million players. We'll talk about that later. But been doing a lot of that, and then yesterday I picked up the Alters, and like I feel like I've just been juggling video games, and it's been nice. You know?
So I missed out on the Death Stranding review. I don't want to spoil too much because I do want to go back and watch and see what everyone gave it. But what did you give it? Because I know I was talking to you the last couple of weeks, and you were kind of in flux just a little bit.
Yeah, I gave it a 9.5.
Okay. 9.5. Okay, that's where I thought you were gonna land. Amazing. Wow.
Absolutely love this video game. There's things here and there that I wish they could have done better, but overall I'm still like blown away by it. It's one that I say this all in the review, right? But if you're a Death Stranding fan, it's a must play. And if you're a Kojima person, I think it's one that you definitely should check out. I think even if you didn't like Death Stranding 1, it's not like this game is a different type of video game than Death Stranding 1. It's still that type of game. But I do think they do a lot to kind of bring the barriers down and smooth out the friction that's in Death Stranding 1. And so it's definitely one worth checking out.
Yeah. I was off yesterday because I just had some things I had to handle with G. But over the weekend, like, dude, I got home on Friday and I had a cold. And I was like, this sucks. So I've been home the last 3 days with a cold. I'm good now. Like now I'm just on that like recovery stuff where my throat just sounds like shit, you know? But I was like not bedridden, but like I was like taking it real easy. Yeah. So that just meant watching a lot of movies.
Oh yeah.
And I got all hyped because we ran out of time to catch up for 28 Years Later that just came out in theaters. And I loved 28 Days Later as a kid, but I never got to the sequel. So I was like, let's just sit. Have you watched these?
I've not watched any of them.
So we still haven't seen the new one, but over the weekend we caught up for Superman in review. But G and I pretty much back to back watched 28 Days and then 28 Weeks Later. There are things that could be said about both of those films, but overall, my God, how ahead of their time. And like for the second one, like what a great use of its time. Like these things are crazy because like you watch 28 Days Later and you're just like, I know that zombies are zombies, and like you can say, oh well, this came from that, whatever. But like Walking Dead and Last of Us both owe a lot.
Oh yeah,
like, the most.
Okay,
the absolute most.
I think now that because these are Garland joints, Alex Garland joints, right? Now that Garland is becoming like, and he's been that guy when it comes to like big releases, whether it's Dune or whether it's what was the other one that came out not too long ago that I watched? Oh, Annihilation. And then upcoming, you have Elden Ring. I feel like I should do the thing that I did with Nolan where I just sit and just do like the binge.
Go through.
Yeah, go through his catalog.
I don't know if Garland was involved with the second one. So it was Alex Garland and Danny Boyle. They did the first one. I'm pretty sure the second was like a different group.
Okay.
I don't know if they were involved in any ways, but I know the new one, they're back.
Oh, sorry. Dune was Villeneuve. I don't know why I thought that was Garland.
You're right. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, just cool stuff all around. Civil War is what Alex Garland did.
Oh, maybe
maybe
that's
right?
what I meant.
I'm pretty sure.
Now I'm just looking up. He did Ex Machina, which I fucking love. Ex Machina.
That was Denis Villeneuve. Anyways, 28 Days Later in particular is phenomenal. Bless, and it's like 8 seasons, the 8 good seasons, and that's being generous, of Walking Dead in one movie.
Okay,
like they just go plot point to plot point and just like only the greatest hits. Like, oh, good stuff.
Hell yeah.
You should check it out one time. But this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday, we run you through the video game news that you need to know about live on YouTube, Twitch, and podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, support us with the Kinda Funny membership on Patreon, YouTube, and now Spotify and Apple Podcast to get all of your shows ad-free and a daily exclusive show. For a chance to be part of this show, submit your thoughts and opinions as YouTube Super Chats as we go. Remember, we are an 11-person business all about live talk shows. After Games Daily, you're going to get a kind of funny Gamescast breaking down all the things we've been playing. We had to punt this episode last week because the marathon news dropped. So we're now catching up with a little bit of that. And then Gamescast, our following Gamescast is going to be more Dune Awakening streams because the boys are addicted. They're all in.
Yeah, I mean, here's my thing. I've never had such FOMO in my life. And this comes back to the thing of like me playing more games since beating Death Stranding 2 and kind of feeling like free to move around because there's not like a big review over the horizon that I got to be locked in. I imagine the next one is going to be Donkey Kong Bonanza. But like I've been seeing these games come out and I'm like, Dune Awakening, I've been anticipating. I've been looking forward to. But I've been letting a lot of like multiplayer, like live service stuff pass me by because I'm like, I guess in my brain, I'm like, I don't have anybody to play with. But then I forget that like there is
literally have a dedicated group.
Yeah, but it's the thing where I just got to have a sit down with Nick and Mike where I'm like, listen, I know I'm always busy in the afternoon. I'm coming off of Games Daily and Gamescast, so I'm tired to be on content in the afternoons or whatever. But I got to find a way to just like weasel myself in.
Weasel it in, dude.
Because I want to play with people. I want to play Dune Awakening. I want to play Peak.
Scheduling things we could do. I'll just be like, hey, I'm just going to stream for an hour with you guys. And that way it's not a 3-hour dedication.
But then, like, you know, I jump off of the hour and then, like, they get all progressed. You know what I mean? And they're all these levels higher. And I'm like, oh, damn, I missed the boat.
Well, then fucking strap in, bless.
You're right.
You're going to Arrakis.
Listen, I'm going to play 6 hours. I'm going to be on content for 6 hours a day, starting now.
Starting
now.
If you're a Kind of Funny member, today's Greg Way is about Death Stranding 2. Commenters actually getting under his skin yesterday.
I saw this in real time.
Oh yeah.
It's one of those things where like people are like, "Oh,
it happens to all of
Greg
us.
doesn't." But like, there's always like those specific things where it's like, yeah, if there's like a thing that somebody says to me, right? Like I might not care, but there's like another thing somebody says, and I'm like, "Oh, you motherfucker,
yeah,
you mother." Oh, Nick is here. What's up, Nick?
You gotta get in that room with us, bro. You gotta,
dude. I want to. Listen, we're gonna figure out a scheduling thing because I want to play Doom with y'all.
Today, just come play with us.
But I'm on this, I'm on Gamescast after. I'm gonna be tired. I'm gonna be hungry.
It's really easy. You just sit and you're the Lizanal guy for us, man. You're the Sheikh.
Nick's making some really good points.
Nick's making some really good points. Let's go. Nick's making really good points.
I'm wrapping it up. It's time to go to Arrakis.
But yeah, this is one of those ones where I've seen in real time where I'm like, oh yeah, this is one of those ones that pushes Greg's buttons a little bit.
Yeah, my favorite is when Greg like gets mad and he starts sitting there and like you see his gears turning and he literally starts like rubbing his hands together and he goes, "Oh, this motherfucker," you know what I mean? And it's he's about to ruin somebody's day. I don't know if this is one of those situations.
Oh God, he's here.
He's here.
You're not on Gamescast today. We took you off right before this. Remember?
Oh, I thought you were putting me back on to talk about the other game that I talked about. Whatever. Anyway, it looks like I'll be on the stream.
He's streaming, everybody.
I'm streaming.
Woo! Thank you to our Patreon producers, Carl Jacobs, Omega Buster, and Delaney Twining. Today, we are brought to you by Cash App and Mood, but we'll tell you all about that later. For now, let's begin with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 7 stories today. We're trying.
Does it. There we go.
There we go.
I heard him say it without the mic on, so I just hear echo in the background.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. Story number 1 here, not good stuff. Microsoft plans major job cuts at Xbox gaming division. This comes from Jason Schreier at Bloomberg. Microsoft will conduct another round of major layoffs in its Xbox division next week as part of a company-wide reorganization. Managers within Xbox are expecting substantial cuts across the entire group, according to people familiar with the plans, who asked not to be identified, discussing non-public information. The company declined to comment. This will be the 4th big layoff at Xbox in the past 18 months, following 3 major cuts last year and the closure of several subsidiaries. Xbox, which produces video game hardware and software, has been under pressure from Microsoft executives to boost profit margin since purchasing Activision Blizzard for $69 billion in a deal that closed in 2023. Bloomberg News earlier reported that Microsoft plans to cut thousands of jobs next week, largely in sales.
This is one that I don't have the biggest opinion on that's separate from the opinions I've had on layoffs in the last like quite a few years / in the last forever. You know what I mean? I read earlier today that like when it comes to approaching the end of the fiscal year, usually you'll see big stuff like this coming out of Microsoft, like the big layoffs and stuff, which is why you have like the largely in sales portion of like where Microsoft plans to cut thousands of jobs as well, along with this. So like, you know, this stuff fucking sucks every single time we get back around to these stories. We've been seeing these stories, like this article mentions, right? Like periodically out of the Xbox division, which like I guess I'm curious from you, Tim, of what is your read on that? Is that still the residual stuff of the acquisitions and like what we're seeing coming off of the Activision stuff?
I mean, absolutely right. When you have an acquisition, it's necessary for you to be prepared to figure out redundancies. And to figure out redundancies, that can either mean a layoff or figure out new roles or a new place, a new team, something to put people. That second part's a lot harder to do.
Yeah.
So it's a lot less likely. There's going to be a lot of people that are fought for, but there's going to be a lot of other people that at the end of the day are just numbers on a spreadsheet. So I feel the biggest problem with all of this is it wasn't just one acquisition. It was many back to back to back. And we're now seeing the continued ramifications of what that looks like. I've been talking about this for a long time, just in terms of leadership. Like Xbox has for a decade now really kind of, I don't want to say struggled. That's the best word for it though, to not only find its identity, but to commit to that identity and go down that path. And I feel like they're finally fully doing that. But to get there, it did require a lot of these acquisitions and a lot of just kind of shifting around of like what the actual line of command looks like when you're adding Bethesda, you're adding Activision. Like you're now adding not just all these teams, but teams of HR, teams of middle management, teams of leadership, like figuring out who's in control of what and how that all works together when there needs to be a unified vision overall. There's going to be an insane amount of not just redundancies, but kind of obstacles to figure out, or else the business can't succeed because they're going to be having leadership pushing teams in different directions, right?
Yeah.
And that is something that I think we have seen with Xbox for a very long time. So with where we're at here, none of this is a surprise. It is incredibly unfortunate. I don't think we're quite close to being through it even after this, though. Like, I still think that with Microsoft staring down the neck of Xbox leadership and looking for the profits, I do think that we are getting closer and closer to that point, because we've talked about this ad nauseum, but like Xbox is finally at a place where it has its different systems in place, making money, and they have a steady cadence of releases coming out to back up the Game Pass subscriptions, which subscriptions is the future they keep talking about, but then also now being on PlayStation, making that money, having multiple games in their top 10 NPD, right? Like the revenue is coming in for Xbox games. That's great. But I'd still think that they're going to want more, because it's Microsoft and it's a company. But I think that we're just still not quite there. So next week, we'll probably hear this. I believe the story. I think that next year, we'll probably get a similar story again.
Yeah. I mean, that shit sucks.
It does. It really does.
Yeah. I do wonder how much of this as well is just like the shifting as far as what the strategy is. Like we're talking about the acquisitions and stuff, but I think Xbox going way further into the ecosystem approach, and like I think what that does as far as your focuses and what that does as far as like emphasis on certain types of strategy versus other types of strategy, right? Like that is a similar thing of having to shift people around as far as like, all right, this is what our focus is, right? Like it is not just communications with us and our audience anymore. Yeah. It is communications with third parties and partners in an entirely different way. It is you talking to Meta. It is you talking to Asus. It is you talking to and partnering with like what different types of hardware looks like as well, right? Like the structure of the Xbox gaming division is in real time, like changing dynamically, and I imagine that is going to change what roles look like and what roles are necessary and all that stuff. I hope it's successful for the people that are working at Xbox. I feel like for me, I look at layoffs and I go, oh, well, this isn't working, and like there's growing pains. But at what point do we go, all right, the growing pains are too painful. Like, the growing pains are taking away from like the point of this all, which is to support the people that work at your company.
Yeah, and I unfortunately think that that's just not how they look at it.
Of course, yeah.
And yeah, I think that just the business realities of it are that I do think that it is starting to work for them, and that there is some gold in the hills that they're chasing down and have been chasing for a long time. And I think that they're on the precipice of being able to release their games, which again, first party, third party, whatever you want to call Xbox at this point, like that's irrelevant.
Sure.
As a publisher with a squad of devs, I don't even think it's a question at this point, are the biggest, the number one right?
publisher in terms of like
Just
pure scale.
value of IP and like games that sell. They have Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Like that alone puts them in a different echelon than EA or Ubisoft or Capcom or Square or any of that stuff, right? PlayStation, Nintendo, like so many of those things combined equal to what Xbox is capable of at this point. And I do think that we are at the most interesting turning point in terms of potential sales, where there are more systems and places people can play games than ever. Just looking at pure consoles, like just consoles, like Xbox games now are going to be available on more consoles than ever. And that's not just because, oh, it's also on PlayStation. Now that the Switch 2 is coming out, that's another library or another install base that they can tap into potentially. And I imagine will sooner than later. Surprised they're not yet, but still we imagine, right, that they will. So the pure console market, they now have, sure, maybe the Xbox One S isn't like the best selling system ever, but it's still sold a lot, right?
Yeah.
Now you add on all the PC stuff, all the this is an Xbox stuff, and they just have more places and more ways for people to purchase games, and they have the most games to sell in different ways. Like that is a winning strategy.
Yeah.
So you just got to kind of shave off all the losing strategies around it. And I think that's the problem place we're at right now is they have too many cooks in the kitchen, too many colors to paint with, and they don't need them all. And they're looking at all of this and they're like, all right, cool. What do we need to make the strategy I just talked about actually work? And what don't we?
And that's the part I get fearful about is like when you're talking about shaving the fat off, right? Like what type of fat are we talking about? You know what I mean? Like when you bring up Call of Duty as, you have Call of Duty, you have these big IP, you have Halo, you have whatever the thing you want to name, Call of Duty Mobile, I guess.
Yeah.
At some point, do you look at a Double Fine and go, oh, we don't need this. Like, what is this adding to it? And like, I'm not even talking about just in terms of art, in terms of, because like a Double Fine adds more art than arguably anybody else, right? But like when you're talking about the dollars and cents, the conversation of, going back to what I said earlier about like, you want to serve and support the people that work at your company genuinely. And like, this is an adage that I've taken from Alana Pierce now, right? Like the job of a company, of publicly traded companies, isn't to make money or isn't to necessarily serve the customer or serve the employees. It is to serve the market, right? It is to feed into, all right, how do we keep afloat? How do we make money? How do we become bigger, right? Do we start looking at studios that they've even acquired? And I guess we've already done this with, in the case of Tango Gameworks, right? Of like, all right, we acquired the studio, but in our grand purpose here, right? Like they don't serve our grand purpose. So peace out.
Yeah.
All right, we've acquired, Activision, like Toys for Bob, like peace out, right? Like XYZ Studio. I forget how the Toys for Bob situation
that was a little different, but still, it stands.
Yeah, but like, how much shaving off do we get to where it's like, damn, dude, like this is detrimental to how we, I guess, view our value in this as an audience.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I will say I've said this for years now, but I do think that the Tango thing to me always read as not part of the plan, but like they didn't invest in Hi-Fi Rush, Microsoft. That just kind of like fell onto them of, oh, this was this game being made as this deal was happening, and they ended up having it, right? Because they were going after Bethesda. They were going after Bethesda for the Fallouts and Skyrims of the world. So I do think that that's a perfect example of what I'm saying, of just like we are still and going to be for a while in this place of like, all right, what was the value? Like what did they purchase, and what is their strategy with all of that going forward? And I think that's starting to get way more clear as we're actively in it, and as we are now, they're talking about what their next generation console plans are, and it's like they're spelling out everything that we've been talking about the last year when it came to every move Xbox has been making, turning it into combining PC and console more than ever, both on a handheld and a desktop conversation, as well as the cloud and all of that.
Yeah.
And what teams fit with that strategy and what don't. I do think Double Fine does. I do think that like Double Fine to me is that type of Game Pass strategy of get it out there. It's not going to be a bazillion seller necessarily, but it is stuff to give people, and it is one of those like more fun little projects for people to get into and have some level of identity to their projects.
Yeah. At
a certain point, what's first to go when they're looking at, hey, we're not making enough money, so we got to let some team go that hasn't produced results. yeah, maybe Double Team.
Yeah, I mean,
Double Fine is there.
And that's what I look at when I look out just how when we're talking about how big they are as a company right now. Like you're right. Like there's nobody scale wise that's that big as a video games publisher. But is there a reason for that, right? Like, is that tenable? Is that something that you can manage, or are we going to see over time then shrink back to a size that's manageable? I hope I'm wrong about that. I hope now
no.
they're in a place that's manageable.
Yeah, that's my thing is no, they're not. They're clearly not.
Yeah.
That's just the whole long and short of this is no, this is not manageable. Like they acquired way too much and there's way too many thousands of people that they don't know what to do with.
Yeah.
Like they made those choices, but yeah, it is unmanageable and it's not sustainable that way. This is them trying to sustain it, which is a call,
you
know, and it fucking sucks. And it's incredibly disrespectful to the thousands of people that have worked to help create the system to be something that they can even look at as a strategy. But I don't see this changing, Bless. Like, I think that we are strapping in for this same news story from Xbox multiple times to remain before we get anywhere close to, oh, they got it.
What does a VR headset help?
I mean, I do think that it does for the point that I'm making of like the more people that are playing and the more hardcore niches you can get into that want to associate with Xbox, the better. Like if they can get people to want to sign up for Game Pass because, hey, I already have this thing and it's easier. I want to play VR games. There's multiple VR games on Game Pass. Like that would be a good thing. There's a lot of ifs here.
Yeah.
A lot of ifs.
What if it's out now? This is me
crazy.
trying to segue story
my
number
bad,
two.
my bad. Real talk, I got so thrown off during that because
I saw your thing sign out.
I got logged out of Google, so the doc went away, and I couldn't remember my password. I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, this is going to be bad. My bad, Bless. That was excellent. Yeah. Xbox is surprised. Story number 2. Xbox is surprised MetaQuest 3S VR headsets out now, but supply is extremely limited. This comes from Andy Robinson at VGC. Xbox has partnered with Meta for the limited edition MetaQuest 3S Xbox Edition. The special VR headset's available from today for $400 in extremely limited quantities from Meta.com, Best Buy, Argos, and EE. And according to Microsoft, once they're gone, they're gone. The bundle includes a custom 128 gigabyte MetaQuest 3S in Xbox Carbon Black and Velocity Green. Hell yeah. Matching Touch Plus controllers, a limited edition Xbox wireless controller, an Elite Strap, 3 months of Meta Horizon Plus, and 3 months of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Quote, with cloud gaming and the launch of the MetaQuest 3S Xbox Edition bundle. God, I'm not saying it anymore. There have never been more ways to play with Xbox. We're proud of what we built together with Meta, and we can't wait for you to dive into everything the MetaQuest 3S Xbox Edition has to offer. Whether you're streaming the latest Xbox Game Pass Ultimate titles, exploring the ever-expanding world of VR, or kicking back with immersive entertainment, it's just the beginning of what's possible when great teams and great technology come together.
Here's the thing. When we talked about this yesterday, I was taken aback by the idea of the Xbox partnering with Meta for a VR headset, just because VR has never felt like something that the Xbox brand has wanted to chase after, even though coming off of the Asus Xbox Ally situation, this makes sense of why they would do this. It being a limited time thing, in my brain make way more sense, right? Of like, hey, this isn't necessarily a vision that we have as far as like a way we want to build things out in a serious way, but it does help us, I think, help Xbox kind of reinforce the idea of, hey, anything can be an Xbox. Hey, like we have an agnostic open platform here that we want to work with people to like get things happening, and like whether it's Asus, whether it's Meta, like, hey, come through, be an Xbox, everybody. You can be an Xbox. It's like Oprah with a bunch of platforms in the audience being like, you can be an Xbox.
I could not have said it better myself, Wes. Real talk, though, I do think you're nailing it. Like, yeah, this being limited is, on one hand, a little bit weird, just because like limited run products are always a little weird.
Yeah.
But also, it does make a lot of sense. And I do think it goes back to what I was just saying of like, you go to the hardcore niche enthusiast bases and you try to please them and you try to give them more ways to enjoy your product. Like, that's going to be a win for you if you manage to pull it off. And I do think that here, like how this reads, it is not, oh, hey, we buy this for the VR necessarily. This is more, use this as a way to play your games with a big ass screen.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't have a big ass screen. And I know there are a lot of people that do that. It's not the majority by any stretch of the imagination in terms of all gamers, but there are clearly, from market driven data that they're looking at enough for them to want to be like, you know what, we should partner. Meta's the right partner. Let's get out there. And I agree with you that, like, yeah, we're going to continue to see Xbox branded hardware in more and more places. And I do think that their goal is to be ubiquitous with technology. You can play Xbox
ubiquitous
games
with screens.
Yeah.
If there's a screen, you can play. And honestly, I think this is a good billboard. I think, me, you, a sizable portion of the people watching this probably knew that you could play Xbox Cloud off of a VR headset, off of the MetaQuest VR headset. But I think this works as a billboard to tell anybody, hey, by the way, if you have a MetaQuest, whether it's the Xbox One or not, like, you can play Xbox games on that. And I think that made a light bulb light up in like so many people's heads.
Sure.
Of, oh shit, I can play my Xbox in my VR. Like, oh yeah, let's do it.
Again, we're still in the education process when it comes to what Xbox currently is, and more importantly, what is going to be in short time. Right. And there's still a lot going on. And just like we were just talking about, of like the structures of everything, the marketing of everything, and just the consolidation and understanding of like what the product even is, I think still is, to the general consumer, fairly nebulous. But I don't think it's going to take too long for them to get into a place where, yeah, the Xbox brand, the Xbox logo just means something different. And if Xbox and Microsoft can pull off that, when people just see that X on something, they know exactly what it means. Yeah. Which is, you can play your Game Pass games there, you can play your Xbox games there, and you kind of have a full scalability, whether you want to play it from the cloud, actually on a system, on your this, on your that. Like, that's when they win. That's when they truly are in the end game of, cool, the strategy is sound, and now we just need to continue making games and continue supporting the platforms they have in front of them.
Yeah.
The Meta being one. I want to get to story number 3, but first, I want to take a quick word from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by Cash App. We've all had those moments getting meals out with people that always end in some kind of awkward experience of having to figure out the least complicated way to just get it done. Or even after figuring it out, have you used an app and ended up having to wait days for your money to finally show up? What if we could solve all of that easily? Cash App is a completely different experience, fast, easy, and safe, and a great way to receive and transfer money to family and friends. It's incredibly easy to set up. You just enter your phone or email and some other basic information, no bank account needed, and then there's no waiting around for days. It's your money, you shouldn't have to wait. We love using Cash App because it's fast, it's safe, and it just makes life way less stressful. For a limited time only, new Cash App users can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash. For real, there's no catch. Just download Cash App and sign up. Use our exclusive referral code KINDAFUNNY in your profile, send $5 to a friend within 14 days, and you'll get $10 dropped right into your account. Terms apply. That's money, that's Cash App. This episode is brought to you by Mood. Let me tell you about the online cannabis company that's revolutionizing how we deal with life's challenges. From sleepless nights to stress-filled days, Mood.com has created an entire line of functional gummies that target specific health concerns with 100% federally legal THC blends. They'll deliver them discreetly right to your doorstep, and you can get 20% off your first order at Mood.com with promo code KINDAFUNNY. I've been having a great time trying out all their different gummies, and I'm loving how each one feels. Their sleepy time gummies will knock you out in about 15 minutes flat. No hangovers, no grogginess, and their Epic Euphoria gummies are perfect for those days when nothing's going right. And best of all, not only does Mood stand behind everything with an industry-leading 100-day satisfaction guarantee, but as I mentioned, listeners get 20% off their first order with code KINDAFUNNY. So head to Mood.com, browse their amazing selection of functional gummies, and find the perfect gummy for whatever you are dealing with. And remember to use promo code KINDAFUNNY at checkout to save 20% on your first order. Oh, hey, what's up, everybody? We're back. We're trying our best here, everyone. Things happen sometimes. Story number 3, Rematch has now sold 1 million copies. This comes from Ben Lyons at Game Reactor. Rematch seems to be the answer to virtual football that so many players have been after. We say this because within a day of launch, the arcade title managed to surpass 1 million players, a figure that didn't reflect sales due to its inclusion on services like Game Pass. Clearly, the sales numbers weren't too far behind, though, as now it has been confirmed Rematch is a million seller, too. That's freaking awesome. Also, didn't realize it was on Game Pass. Very cool. Smart call for that game. Slow Clap confirms as much in a press release that also reveals that the total player count is now beyond 2.5 million, and the following stats are in fact accurate examples of player tendencies. 11.78 million matches played, 58.58 million goals, 33.54 million assists, and 69.12 million goalkeeper saves.
Nice.
Bless you, out of all people in the world,
Mm-hmm.
are the special boy with this one.
Oh, man.
I feel like they made this one just for you.
I've never seen a game more constructed in a lab that was meant for me. Like, the only thing left is for them to do some kind of Sonic the Hedgehog collaboration to really make it solidified. Yeah, this is a fascinating one. I'm like, this is one I could have called from a mile away, just for the fact of in those pre-launch betas that they were doing and like the pre-launch tests, I saw so much fan fervor for this game already. Like so many like TikToks of people posting clips, so many just online like algorithmic stuff pulling up this game of people being excited. And like I would see a clip and I would see like hundreds of thousands of likes on TikTok. And I'm like, oh shit, all right. They got something here with Rematch. I think it's simple as far as like the premise of like what this is, but it's also genius at the same time. Because guess what? We don't get many good like soccer games. You know what I mean? Like you get FIFA, and that's like that's the one, and then you get fucking EE football or whatever the fuck they're calling the Konami one nowadays, and like that shit's not good. I think the more I see of the success of this game, the more I'm surprised that we haven't seen more like this until now. I think the era of like FIFA Street and like the casual arcadey soccer games and arcadey sports games, Mega Man Soccer, right?
Yeah.
Like even like the Mario sport. I mean, Mario sports games might not be the best example, but like they kind of dropped the ball in my opinion of the last Mario soccer game, Strikers. Like the fact that era has kind of shifted and gone away, I'm like, man, y'all leaving money on the table because soccer has the biggest audience in the world, right? Or football, if you want to call it that, right? Like that has such a large audience for it. And for the developers of Sifu to come through and go, hey, let's make something that's in our style, something that plays really good in real time, right? Like we have a good feel for action and a good feel for like how a game should play. Let's do something as simple as 3v3, 4v4, 5v5 soccer and make it simple and fun. Like, yeah, of course it's going to be a hit. One of the big conversations I've been seeing around this is the pricing of it, because I see so many people online saying, make the game free, it should be free to play, yada, yada, yada. I couldn't disagree more. Now that I played quite a bit of this game since its launch, one, they sold 1 million. So already they're doing great for $30. Like, that's fucking fantastic. So already I'm like,
30
no.
is very reasonable.
Yeah, 30
not
is,
even 40.
Yeah, it's $30. It's on Game Pass, which echoes how Rocket League launched back in the day in 2015, right? Where that launched on PS Plus and then also was a paid game at the same time. This goes back to, I remember Greg talking about this, of you and him having a conversation of like, should you release something? Now I'm thinking about it, this might have been a private conversation, but it was like, should you release something for free or should you pay for it? And Greg told me that you were like, yo, we can always set something to free. We can't set something that was free to something paid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I have the same sort of idea here of, hey, if they want to go free to play, like let them start off as a paid thing and then they can go free to play over time. If they launch this thing free to play and if it doesn't hit, they're done. They're donezo. And like, I've seen the battle pass. I've looked at their microtransaction stuff. That stuff in Rematch is not there. If this game launched as free to play, this game would have been fucked. Like, I'm saying this as somebody who went through Knockout City as a game that was fucking fantastic, quality, all that stuff. Launched as a paid game, went free to play, and like just didn't have the stuff from free to play, and that game's not a thing anymore, right? You can play it on private servers and that's it. Like, I'm so happy that Rematch charged for it because they're making that money. They're going to be able to sustain this game and hopefully support this game over time, get it to where it needs to be, hopefully get the Battle Pass stuff up there and get the like post-launch content up there. And then if the game gets to a place where it is, oh, we got stuff that we can sell in cosmetics. We have these collaborations. We have stuff that's going to keep it afloat. Let's go free to play so we can get the player base up, then pull that lever. And so I'm happy this game is doing well. I want it to live forever.
Yeah, I know. I'm so happy for you. I still haven't got my hands on it, but every time I see any clip of it, I'm just like, damn, dude, like I've been seeing some like incredible tech online, like people doing in like Rocket League style, like bounces and like after overtime, like keeping the ball in play. Like,
Yeah.
it seems like it has the depth and it has the interest from players, which is cool. You bringing up the soccer obsession is interesting because obviously soccer, football, huge, biggest thing maybe in the entire world, not just sports, just period, right? I am surprised that this didn't even lean more into it's what it is. I feel like it's so Rocket League, and I feel like the conversation tends to be more about how it's Rocket League than it is about it being soccer, which is funny because Rocket League is just soccer with cars, but like there is a difference there. I don't know.
What's funny is I remember when they first revealed this, one of the things that I talked about in the like Gamescast after Game Awards was in regards to Rocket League and how in a lot of ways, in my opinion, Rocket League is more authentic to how soccer plays than even FIFA is. Because in Rocket League, you have to think about positioning more. You have to think about like the physics of how you're hitting the ball and like how you're like maybe passing the ball to somebody. And like it's a lot more. Rocket League feels more like how I play soccer when I'm on the pitch than FIFA is, where FIFA is almost more of like a strategy thing of, all right, pass, position here. Like, you're kind of going through the motions, but this game, I think, captures more of that Rocket League vibe of, oh, no, this is how soccer feels to play, as opposed to, like, how an actual soccer game like FIFA does it. And so I think that's fine that it feels a bit more on, like, the Rocket League side, because I think they want to invoke that as well. Like, I think the small player number and then being able to hit the ball off walls and all that stuff kind of feeds into the Rocket League nature of it. But I think people look at it, and I think whether or not people think soccer or Rocket League, it's a net positive either way.
Absolutely, yeah, because we're talking about one of the biggest hit multiplayer games ever.
Yeah.
In terms of sustainability and just like interest and like, man, staying power, like good for them. And do you see this game existing 3 years from now? Does it need to?
This is gonna be a conversation for the review because I think yes, but I think they have a lot to work on. I think like, if I'm going to continue the Rocket League comparison, I think Rocket League launched in a way better way than this game is launching as far as like content and like, if I'm going to continue hearing echoes, content and like essentially like how full and how live the game feels in Rocket League. Like Rematch kind of just launched with a mode and that's it. Like it has 3v3, 4v4, 5v5, and then a ranked 5v5 mode. And that's it. There's practice mode and there's like a cool prologue thing. And that it feels kind of bare bones in a way where like I think you really need to build if you want to last longer, but we'll talk about that more tomorrow.
Story number 4, Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive Drag and Drive has a release date, but no price so far. This comes from WYP at IGN, Wesley Yin-Poole. Nintendo has once again used its Today app to announce news, this time a release date for Switch 2 exclusive Drag and Drive. Let's just talk about that for a second. Nintendo's really out here using its app.
Oh, yeah.
I am shocked.
You doubted them.
I did.
I believe in Nintendo today.
And it's so funny. They're just putting random things out there, and it's like, it's the most classic Nintendo shit. Not quite enough information.
I hate it so much.
Okay, IGN announced they have a price now. It's $20. Drag and Drive launches exclusively on the eShop, so that means no physical release on Switch 2, August 14th, 2025 for $20. Nintendo has so far failed to confirm a price until now, everybody. The game was announced in the Nintendo Switch 2 Reveal Direct. Bless, you and I played this game.
Yeah.
Me, you, and Raj. We played this game together.
Did it feel like $20 to you?
$20?
Sure, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I didn't love it. I thought it was a little nifty, Then we had the big mouse pad. We're dragging. We're driving, right? You feel all the HD rumble in the mouse controls. Using 2 of the Joy-Cons as mice was novel.
Yeah.
Playing against, like, we did like the tutorial that kind of like taught you how to like get the ball and then shoot the ball and pass the ball. And then we actually played a game together and we're like passing the ball to each other and dunking it and stuff. And when it hit pretty nice.
Yeah.
Like when you get the ball and you're just like, yeah. But in that kind of novelty arcade thing, when you're at like an old school carnival type thing and you have the gun and you're shooting the little targets and you actually hit one and you're like, yeah. It's that same type of feeling where it's like, I don't know that this is going to necessarily connect any group of gamers. And I think that's the problem.
Here's my issue with this is why wasn't this a launch game? I ain't playing this on August 14th. I got shit to do, Tim.
I got shit to do.
I got shit to do.
I get it.
I'm gonna still be collecting things in Donkey Kong Bonanza. You know what I mean?
Donkey Kong Bonanza is July 17th. A week after that, we have Mario Party Switch 2 edition.
TV Plus or whatever.
In August, we'll be a week away from Kirby and the Forgotten Land Switch 2 edition. So yeah, this does seem like a bizarre choice. Like, knowing everything we do now about the Switch 2 launch, this should have been there.
This would have been. I mean, this gives like prime launch day game vibes. You know, unknown quantity. It's a little cool multiplayer like sports thing,
Showing off the console's gimmick.
showing off like the gimmick of the console, and like you know, I don't want to call it a tech demo because I think oftentimes that feels like an insult, but it serves that tech demo purpose of like, oh, okay, cool, this is how this thing works. And also, it's a thing to do with this console that I launched that only has one big game. And then I can play Mario Kart World, and then in between, I'll play some Dragon Drive, have some fun there.
Totally.
I ain't playing this when Kirby and the Forgotten Land is around the corner.
Yeah, Ali Khan in the chat says, this is the definition of a launch game.
Yes.
Yeah, it really, really is. Like, it should have been, and I do think that, I also don't know that would have done too many favors for it necessarily. Like, going back to, like, I'm just concerned about this game overall, because having played it, it was exhausting. Like, while it was kind of cool, we were all like, we're seriously going
pushing
like this constantly. Like, it's a lot. And like, not in the Ring Fit Adventure type way. I do think that had they maybe marketed this more as a workout type thing, I think they could have found something, and maybe they still have time. I don't know. I don't think so though. But my biggest problem with this game is, and it's weird to compare it to something that wasn't a hit, but it lacks any of the Nintendo charm that ARMS had.
Sure. Okay. You know what? I feel that.
You look at ARMS and you're like, okay, Nintendo has a new IP.
Yeah.
And the music of that game, which is some of the best of all time, same composer as Mario Kart World. It makes a lot of sense. That theme song, goddamn, it's good. And the game, sure, I am a defender of ARMS in the sense that, like, I enjoyed it a lot when I played it. But like, here I am. Am I ever going to play it again? I don't know. Maybe I will this weekend.
What you're saying is that you're not going to see the Dragon Drive character in a future Smash Bros. game.
I don't think so.
No.
And
honestly, we better not.
I mean, it was crazy we got Min from ARMS, but we did. But I don't think we get the Dragon Drive character. I simply don't.
I was using Min from ARMS the other day in Smash Brothers for the very first time.
Yeah.
I just went through. I remember we had to talk about like classic mode and should I try to go after all the spirits or whatever. And I looked at my classic mode. And I was like, oh, you know what? I've done a big handful of these. And I saw Min. I was like, I'll try out Min. Min, really fun Smash character.
Yeah.
Min might be my next main. Just putting that out there.
That sounds great.
I'll fuck
for
with
you.
Min.
Good. Play some ARMS, But yeah, I feel like it's funny because I remember when Splatoon was first announced at whatever E3 that was, 2013. This was back, I was at IGN, we were in the war room, and this was at the era of everyone wanting to hate Nintendo. We're still kind of there, but like we were really there during the Wii U. And they announced a new IP. Like, that's wild. The Nintendo announced a new IP. And the overall room sentiment was, why is Nintendo making a multiplayer shooter, essentially, right? And now look where we're at now. 3 Splatoons in, a spinoff on the way. Huge hit franchise, one of the big 5 for Nintendo.
It ain't one of the big 5.
It's up to them.
Big 10.
They get to decide.
I'll call it Big 10.
Decide it, okay?
But do you think they look at it as a big 5?
Yes, that's my whole point.
No, Splatoon?
Inkling's walking in the Nintendo store, bless.
Yeah, but like hell,
who's he behind?
There's multiple IP in the Nintendo store that's not a big 5.
Not the ones walking to the store. Not the ones on the cable cars.
Mario, Zelda, I guess we're not counting Pokemon.
Gets weird.
Pokemon gets weird. So even if we're not counting Pokemon, Animal Crossing. Oh man, you might be right. Splatoon might be.
This is where we're at, bro.
Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong's not above Splatoon right now.
Yeah,
Donkey Kong will be above Splatoon after Bonanza,
we're living
though.
in a good timeline.
We do.
My point is, though, we doubted Splatoon and it ended up hitting.
Yeah.
We doubted ARMS. It didn't really end up hitting, but it's still clearly a Nintendo game. I look at this and I'm doubting it.
Yes.
And like, the fool me once, fool me twice thing. I think there's something different about this one, though. This doesn't look like it has any of that Smash Brothers appeal.
Oh, yeah. No, 1,000%. Also, whatever you do, don't refresh because there's something funky going on right now.
Oh, with the internet?
There's something funky going on with the internet. So if you refresh, we have no dock anymore.
Okay. Story number 5. Hideo Kojima celebrates his new delivery sim with the official Death Stranding 2 Giga Meat pizza, complete with can of Red Bull. comes from Ashley Bardhan at Games Radar.
Hell
I'm looking
yeah.
at you like, are you fucking with me? Like, this is
Hell yeah.
Death Stranding 2. I'm thinking packages loaded on Norman Reedus' shoulders like barnacles, esoterica, gals with names like Night Sky, Air, Well Behaved, etc. But director Hideo Kojima is more preoccupied with sausage corn and a nuclear bunker's supply of mayonnaise, as evidenced by the official Death Stranding 2 on the beach collab with takeout pizza company Domino's in Japan. Death Stranding and pizza, Kojima explains in a tweet. This is hilariously written. Who are you?
This is Games
Ashley
Radar.
Bardhan from Games Radar. I like you. He elaborates further on the Japanese Domino's website, which we translated with Google, saying that as a child, he watched with reverence as characters in Hollywood movies ordered pizza delivery and ate it on the couch. He was, quote, impressed by the voluminous pies delivered fresh in a box, and so his Domino's flavor selections are inspired by both American pizza culture and his personal tastes. That's how he ended up with the Giga Meat Pizza and Red Bull combo, the official dinner of Sandy Wind-Bitten Death Stranding 2.
Can I tell you?
Yes.
I just love the image of Kojima seeing a Domino's pizza for the first time and just being blown away.
Yeah.
Just being like, what is this?
See, I wonder if he was watching Ninja Turtles. I want to believe he was
You think
watching.
Kojima's into Ninja Turtles?
I do.
I could see it.
Think about his tweet. You can see it.
I could.
You know? It would be more than just I saw Ninja Turtles. He'd have things to say about it.
He'd have a whole review.
Yeah.
I've never seen the like live. Well, I saw the old Ninja Turtles movies, the Go Ninja,
okay.
Go, but I've not seen like the recent.
You're fine.
Michael Bay.
Michael Bay. You're fine. You're
Okay.
absolutely fine. There are elements of them, specifically the second one, that I am a staunch defender of.
Yeah.
They ain't good, though.
Mm,
They real bad.
all right.
There's one elevator scene in the first movie
Mhm.
that I'm like, oh, why isn't the whole movie this?
Is it like the Captain America elevator scene in Winter Soldier?
Kind of, except it's all of them very seriously going from one floor to another, about to like have to fight a bunch of guys, and like in the long elevator, it's dead silent, and Michelangelo just starts like making a beat,
Oh, I
and
think
then
I've
one
seen
by
this.
one they all kind of join in, and they just are like,
That was
all-
definitely like a trail, like in the trailers or something.
I don't think so.
No?
I mean, I don't know.
I've
It's
seen
they
this
clip it and put
somewhere.
it on Twitter and stuff
Yeah.
all the time. But yeah, the rest of the movie ain't that. Anyways, this pizza's hilarious. And okay, you know what? You have played Death Stranding 2.
Yeah.
Does this make sense to you?
You know what? Yes, it does. I didn't even think about it until you said that sentence.
Wow. We solved it, everybody.
I can't say anything more. I dead ass can't say anything
Spoilers!
more.
Giga Meat spoilers, everyone.
I just put it together. Kojima, you're a fucking genius. That's crazy. Because I didn't understand it either. I was like, Domino's, like pizza, what the fuck? It makes so much sense.
So I played the first 4 hours of Death Stranding 1
Uh-huh.
3 times. I played the first 2 hours of Death Stranding 2 once. Correct me if I'm wrong. Monsters their jam, right?
Oh, in the first Death Stranding, yeah. But Death Stranding 2, they didn't keep, they didn't keep the Monster energy drink partnership.
Got it. Okay.
And so they don't have any
Fucking-
allegiance.
Damn.
Yeah, I know. My pay up. I mean, this is a thing by the director's cut of Death Stranding, where Death Stranding 1 director's cut didn't have Monster in it anymore. It was
I
a big
just like
deal.
the audacity to
go Red Bull.
We're going Red Bull, baby.
Yeah. Woo, dude, Kojima's swinging that thing. You know
Yeah,
what I
got
mean?
them
Don't
wangs.
cross Kojima. Also, can we go? I need to go back to the toppings on here because I couldn't find it written out. But you do have
We
pictures.
just have pictures, yeah.
So it's pepperoni.
Mm-hmm.
There's a sausage. Is
that
that bacon?
Is that a potato? That's bacon on the right.
Bacon on the right.
I think it's a potato in the
I
second.
don't know because it looks like an all meat thing. No way, that's a potato.
Giga Meat Pizza.
Is that like a meatball?
Mm,
And then here's the other thing, right? If we can scroll down just a tad bit in the B-roll, the dough has been changed to crispy. Mayonnaise sauce has been added.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Uh-huh.
The idea of mayonnaise on pizza makes me gag a little bit.
Yeah,
Like, that's a wild,
That's
wild
crazy.
thing.
you would try it though.
I mean, I love mayonnaise, man. I fucking do. You know what I mean? What can I say? What can I say, Bless? Okay.
You know what? I get it. I feel you.
But like, and here's the thing, even more than that. Pizza, ranch dressing,
Mm.
no better combos ever happened. Ranch dressing, mayonnaise. They're
No.
like, they're cousins. You
Sure, okay, cousins. I'll give you cousins. I'll give
know what I
cousins,
mean? But
yeah.
like,
I'd try it. I'd probably this would be one of those ones where like it's similar to we had like a fucking beer flavored Pringles can sitting
Yeah.
out there this last week, and Nick kept being like, "Yo, you should try one," and I was like, you know what? I'll try one. and I wasn't gonna try anymore. But I took one bite, and I was like, you know what? Not bad. I'm not gonna eat the rest of this.
It just tasted like it was like, I forgot the flavoring of it. It was like light beer and chicken, like a barbecue chicken or something like that. And it just kind of tasted like chicken skin, which I was like, all right,
yeah,
I'm
sure.
here for it.
I'll take one bite of this.
One
pizza.
bite.
One bite.
See, I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
Let's order it from Japan. Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
The AI is listening.
Yeah, Gemini. Oh, man. Gemini's been listening to a lot.
Gemini. Story number 6, AAA game development's unsustainable.
That's really good.
Story number 6. AAA game development is unsustainable, but generative AI can help. Smash Brothers boss says. This comes from Eddie over at GameSpot. I haven't read your version of this yet, but there has been like updated translation, so we'll see if this includes the updates. But video game development veteran Sakurai, who's best known for creating the Kirby franchise for his work on the Super Smash Brothers series, has said the current model of large-scale game development is becoming unsustainable. He told IT Media, as translated by IGN, "I think it's becoming unsustainable to continue producing large games on the scale that companies currently do, as it requires too much work." Sakurai added that independent game developers are facing challenges too. He said indie developers need a lot of luck, effort, polish, and standout elements to succeed in the market. The developer went on to say that he sees generative AI as a possible solution to help developers, especially teams that make large-scale games. "The only effective breakthrough I can think of at the moment is generative AI. I think we're getting to the point where AAA studios have to change their way of working by using generative AI to improve work efficiency. I think we're in an era where only the companies that successfully respond to these changes will be able to survive," he said. So yeah, it sounds like the extra thing was that it wasn't like him saying this is a good thing. It was more just kind of like pointing out where it's at.
Yeah. Which like I'm not mad at.
I mean, that is facts. The facts suck. But yeah, it's very interesting. There's been a lot of conversations going on with people I've been talking to, and this is very unfortunate, but people I've been talking to in the game space and even outside of the game space, where I've now heard this enough times from different people that I'm like, God damn. There is this conversation of, if you're not adopting AI at your jobs, you are going to be left behind.
Yes.
And that is horrible and so sucky that you're kind of put in this position of, do I go against my beliefs on this or else I'm not only not going to get promoted, I might lose my job. Like I am not going to be able to continue because my bosses are looking at them and being like, do you know how to use this program and solving this problem with this thing? Like, and that is terrifying that like, it feels like we already lost Bless.
There's a J. Cole quote where he says, either you play the game or let the game play you, and be that broke motherfucker talking about I stayed true.
Yeah.
And like that line is so applicable to so many situations, including this one, right? Where I had a conversation a while ago with a brother-in-law who like works at a tech company and is like high up, like he's like engineering / like I think IT, like software development, fucking genius of a dude. And he was telling me about like, yeah, like this is basically if you work at a big tech company, they are strongly asking you to implement AI in any sort of way, because that is what is driving funding now. Like AI has to be attached to what you're doing, and that's how you're going to make money. And I think this goes back to where we're at in the video games industry, and video games becoming a matured medium where companies are trying to figure out how to get more money as money is not coming in as quickly. And how do you get more money to make video games today? You put AI, like you figure out a way to attach the words generative AI to your thing. That way you can get the funding. You might not believe in it, you might not like it, but it's like the game of tug of war we're playing right now. I think I guess I do have opinions on this, right? But like, I think I still do believe in the true nature of, hey, like you can still make something special and something successful and doing all this stuff without generative AI, right? Like we're still playing games. I'm looking at them like I assume, maybe I shouldn't assume because you know what that does, right? But I assume Death Stranding 2 doesn't have generative AI. I feel like Yoji Shinkawa wouldn't let that pass. Maybe that's a bad example, right? Like I assume that a lot of these games that are still coming out are still being made the traditional way
until everyone's laid off.
Until everybody's laid off and this shit is not making money anymore, and everybody's like, well, the finals had it, like let's fucking do it. But yeah, like I think here's the thing: everything that was said by Sakurai in there is true, and AI is like I think a business solution for it. But yeah, I'm not doom and gloom yet, is what I'm saying. I'm not all the way to the point of like, we're all done. Like fucking AI is gonna be in everything, and that's the thing.
I think I'm pretty doom and gloom on it. Like I think it's the genie's out of the bottle. I think there's just no putting it back where it has worked for too many people out there, and those people are in positions of power that.
But worked in what way?
Allowing them to cut workforce.
I mean, yeah, that part
continue
is
to make
fair.
money and be totally fine and not affected negatively in any way besides social posts or people being upset about people stealing art.
But I guess my thing is, has it worked in the way that we're seeing generative AI used in like video game releases and also becoming successful and all that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, you talk about
it's
the
been a
gaming
slow
side of
adoption.
things. Like I don't know about the gaming side, but like you look online and it's like, yeah, things are changing already, like rapidly. Like seeing Will Smith eat spaghetti a couple years ago and now seeing Will Smith eat spaghetti now, it's really terrifying.
Yeah.
And like I know you know that, but it's like I think that we are well past the point of being able to be like, you know what? We're banning this. We're not using this. This is bad. Which is very scary, especially because like, I mean, at the end of the day, there's AI, there's generative AI. They are different conversations. And within the generative AI, there are ethical ways to go about it.
And that's my thing too.
I think we're past that though. I think that it's like we lost the war on the ethical perspective, and now it's just like, fuck it, it's stealing, but it's not really stealing unless you're Warner Brothers or I forgot who was it last week that got
Bungie?
upset. I think it was Disney and Universal that are starting to sue people for putting up their AI like videos and stuff on YouTube and stuff. I'm like, all right, maybe we'll get some change there now that they're realizing like it is stealing their shit and they don't want that. But I still don't think that's going to be enough.
I think here's the thing, right? I'm going to say my opinion and then I'm going to also go back on it, right? Of like, I think it's a quality issue. I think the AI stuff that we've seen so far implemented has been very bad quality in ways that like just haven't resonated with the audience. And I say that to like the finals VO stuff that was going around like a year and a half ago, right? Like people were very quickly to be like, oh, this sounds shit. Like this is AI shit, right? Or like the Marvel Secret Invasion intro thing of on the Disney Plus show, right? Like people are like, this looks like shit. I think we're still kind of in the this looks like shit phase, but we're not going to be there for long. Like that's the scary thing when you're talking about the Google VO3 that has like the Will Smith eating spaghetti and it looks really good now. We're not going to be in the it looks like shit phase for long, and then it really is going to be.
I mean, we're not. Like we already aren't. And the Secret Invasion thing too. Like there are artistic choices with AI, and we can decide if we're cool with that or not. But like, yeah. But also, at the end of the day, I think a lot of people were turned off by that enough that they're just like, fuck this, I'm not watching the show because I don't support the stuff. And like, good for them, you know? Like I do think is so many layers to this, but it's terrifying. To go back to Sakurai real quick, I am very interested because supposedly this year, we're getting another Sakurai game. Yeah. Kirby Air Riders.
Fully AI.
Like, I mean, no, but like that game, I'm worried about it. In the sense that I'm excited as fuck for it. I can't imagine a Kirby Air Riders hitting with an audience, like a modern gaming audience. Like for the guy that made Smash Brothers, now he's putting this out. It's like I think that Sakurai has turned into a much more prominent figure since even Kid Icarus back in like 2012 or whatever that was, 2011 maybe. And yeah, putting out a Kirby Air Riders game, like it's going to be a smaller title. It has to be, and it probably should be. But yeah, hearing him talk about all this of like how hard it is to make giant games, I don't know, man.
Dude, it comes back to the conversation where I think a lot of the games that we're gonna get in these future years that are gonna be like the breakout stuff is gonna be led a lot by the biggest and like most like money making companies that we have. Right, it's gonna continue to be the Call of Duties, and it's gonna be maybe the Craftons or the NetEases and like the companies like that. But then on the other side, I think we're gonna have a lot more reliance on like the Supergiants and the Larians, and I mean now the Expedition 33 studio, right? Yeah. Like, and those are the folks that I think are not going to use AI in their thing because they're independent and like they don't have to worry theoretically about shareholders unless they are like, actually, we can make a lot more money. Let's do that, right? Which is going to happen sometimes, right?
Yeah,
but
for sure.
I think there's going to be integrity involved as well, right? Where I think a lot of the folks that are on that side of things want to create art that they believe in, that they're passionate about, and like I don't think they'd want generative AI, to be involved in that shit, right? But I think it's going to be two different camps of what AAA looks like and where AAA goes. And I'm really concerned about that shit for all the reasons Sakurai's talking about. But at the end of the day, I think for sure we're still going to have like studios that we know and love that are independent, that are doing their thing, that are still making games on a not even big scale. Because I don't know if I'm calling Hades big scale when I'm comparing it to a Death Stranding or something like that, right? But you're still going to have those, and I think those are still going to carry the flag forward for those special games that we know and love.
Yeah. God. If we get more games like Expedition 33 and Hades, that'd be big, bless.
Oh, it'd be
It'd
huge.
be so big. But if I wanted to know something very small, where would I look?
I got to go off the top of the dome because I've not had the doc this entire time. I'm not even looking.
Yeah.
You'd go to our last news story, the We News channel, where we cover all the small news items you need to know about.
It's true, everybody. We news for you. Beavis and Butthead are coming to Call of Duty.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah,
Hell yeah,
brother.
brother.
Rematch has sold over 1 million copies, surpassed 2.5 million players across all platforms. The new Phasmophobia update, Chronicle, is out today and overhauls the game's optional objectives with new ghost hunting tools. Riot Games shuts down Hypixel Studios and cancels Hytale. That's unfortunate. Kalina Liang joins legendary Street Fighter movie as Chun-Li. Fuck yeah, dude.
Let's go.
I'm hoping this movie's fun.
I hope so, too.
I really do. Painkiller launch, like all we need, bless, is cool actors just doing the moves. That's it.
Yeah.
Don't get crazy.
Don't get too cute with it.
Don't get cute.
Just have fun.
Don't get cute. We don't need a Chun-Li origin story. Get the fuck out of here. We definitely don't need an original character. You know what I mean?
What if you put
What
if you put a dude and his name is Cole? What if you made Cole the main character?
What if I told you that actor was a fucking badass?
I think I
also in
heard
Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
He's
I think
one
I
of the
heard you talk
final
about this.
senseis, and his name is Wolf.
See, that's cool.
It's fucking cool.
That's fucking cool. You could have made him Nightwolf.
You're right.
From
You're
Mortal
right.
Kombat.
System Shock 2 25th Anniversary Remaster console version's been delayed to the first 2 weeks of July. Yoshi's Story original soundtrack has been added to Nintendo Music.
Let's go.
Hell yeah. Diablo 4 Sins of the Horadrim begins on July 1st. And that's We News for you. Let's see what we got wrong today. Ooh, nothing. Is that because we're disconnected from the internet?
1000%. Yeah, I've not seen chat in 30 minutes.
We do have some super chats I want to get to. Falcon says Xbox's biggest issue is Microsoft. As long as Satya Nadella is intent on burning billions on OpenAI, there will always be layoffs to cover the losses. Yeah. I mean, I think that is true. I also don't. I think that Microsoft's big problem is Xbox in the same way. Like Xbox has not had its shit together for so long and has made some disaster decisions. So I do think that there's just a lot of problems. But again, too many cooks. And
Way too many cooks is like the way to put it.
Fact of the matter is, yeah, everything you're saying is true as well above all of this while there's chaos happening.
Yeah.
Scary. Leprechaun says, I think these layoffs are going to be mostly hardware layoffs. Xbox is now purely a software publisher.
I mean,
We'll see. I don't think that that's true, though.
Yeah, no, like they're working on their next gen stuff, right? Like I don't think Microsoft is ever going to stop putting out Xbox hardware. Now, is it de-emphasized? Maybe, right? But I don't think that's going to be the thing. Well, I don't think that's going to be the thing that I don't think they're laying off their hardware team because they're going software. Like they're still making hardware.
Yeah. Even if their hardware is their controllers, you know? Like I think that the Xbox controller is going to be with us for the rest of time.
I hope so.
Iterations on it, at least. Like I do think that that's going to be the key into the world of Xbox, depending on no matter what screen you're on. You know what I mean?
It's like Xbox controller, as far as like hardware sales, might be one of the best selling things in video games.
Well, I don't know about sales, but definitely produced. We know that.
Yeah, they definitely make a lot of them.
Things.
And they be just passing those things out, dude.
Crazy. Age Atomic says, thanks to the best friend who mentioned the Kojima event in London, I had no idea it was happening, but now I have a ticket.
Oh, hell yeah.
Gondor's Condor says, this is up there with Embracer Group's failings. Yeah, man. Like, we're talking about many people's lives that are just being trivialized due to corporate greed.
Yeah.
Samson L says, another blessing game, Ultimate Sonic Smackdown.
I saw the trailer for this yesterday. Have you seen this?
No, I saw the leaked slides of it.
It's a fan-made Sonic fighting game. I watched the trailer.
No, I did not see this. I'm wrong.
Oh, okay. For a fan game, looks pretty good, but also it's not something I would play just for the sense of I want quality.
Yeah.
I want quality. Like it looks good for a fan game. It looks good.
Gotcha.
But for a video game, I'm like, good that they're making it.
Yeah.
Cool idea.
TB Fiddler says best sports racing game this year is going to be nuts. Mario Kart, Rematch, Fast Fusion, Sonic Racing, Kirby Air Ride, Tony Hawk, Skate, and Dragon Drive.
I love how they snuck Dragon Drive.
I mean,
in
I
there.
think they snuck a couple things in there. Like, we'll see. I think it's actually just going to be an easy slam dunk. Mario Kart wins. Move on.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Really?
I'm not even talking about the quality of any of these games. I just think the way the Game Awards voting works.
I don't. I need you to stop counting out Sonic Racing Crossroads.
I mean, there's not a chance in hell, no matter how good that game is, no matter what, that game's not beating Mario Kart in votes at the Game Awards.
Do we have a release date? It might come out after the cutoff, so maybe that's the thing that holds it back.
I don't think
that might be the only
that
thing.
might be the excuse.
Yeah,
this thing
excuse.
has SpongeBob in it.
It's gonna be the real reason.
I think that game's gonna be really good.
Sonic Racing.
Yeah.
Oh, it comes out September 25th, so it'll be eligible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Watch out,
Fast
Mario.
Fusion, fun game, but like it's not gonna have the juice. Tony Hawk 1 and 2 did win the year it came out, but I don't think this 3 and 4 beats out Mario Kart. Dragon Drive, I don't think gets on the list. I
feel like I see
Skate, not a chance.
I feel like Mario Kart, where with like people being maybe a little bit underwhelmed by like the open world stuff and like all that. Like I could see maybe that bringing like the Game Awards votes down a little bit.
Mario Kart, man.
That's fair.
It's compare Mario Kart to these other games.
I mean, Tony Hawk's 3+4
We'll see.
and Rematch. Honestly, I think Rematch probably has the closest thing, but like it's the fact that it's games critics voting, I think takes it out. Where like if it was like just pure audience votes, I would actually start like
Think about
leaning
what you're
towards
about to say.
Rematch.
No way.
As far as like
If
what
we're just letting
there's an audience
audience-
passion. Audience has been hating
Sheer
on Mario
number.
Kart.
the loud ones are, what about the millions and billions and billions of people playing?
Yeah, but like that, they're not. Those aren't voters. We're talking about the audience of internet gamers that be voting on things.
We'll see. We'll see. DJ Kento says Dragon Drive, more like drop and flop. Boom. Got him.
Sure.
Sure. Do we know if Dragon Drive will have a standard controller option, or is it more mouse mode only? Unrelated, I highly recommend Fast Fusion for Switch 2. Yeah, Fast Fusion's dope. Definitely check it out.
Have you played Fast Fusion?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's super cool. Like, if you like fast speed F-Zero type games, I highly recommend it. I also recommend F-Zero on the Nintendo GameCube
You know what? Fair
online. But yeah, both are very fun. I've been bouncing back and forth between
Gotta
them.
imagine.
Mouse mode, we only got to play with mouse mode. I think it is mouse mode only.
I would be
I don't
surprised
think
if
it would
there's
work
anything else.
otherwise.
Yeah, I don't know how it would work on a regular controller.
Yeah. Well, everybody, this has been Kind of Funny Games Daily. A little bit of a weird episode because we dropped the internet and weren't able to chat with y'all, but we're sorry about that. Technical difficulties do happen. We appreciate your patience. We have a full day of fun content for you, though. We're about to do Gamescast, covering everything we've been playing. And then after that, the boys are jumping into some Dune Awakening.
Woo! Maybe I can peer pressure them to do like a second half Rematch stream because I want to play Rematch. It's a good game.
I love that you're just like infiltrating. It's great. Anyway, till next time, love y'all. Goodbye.